Hi everyone, it's Vivian. Welcome to Sit and Knit with Vivette episode 6. Hello and welcome to all my new viewers, and hello and thank you for coming back to all my returning viewers. My name is Vivian and this is my monthly podcast where I talk about what I've been knitting and during the month and things that are coming up. So as I said, thank you to all my returning viewers and hello and welcome to my new ones. Today is Monday the 1st of July. It's a very warm and sunny day here in Essex in the United Kingdom, and we've had some really lovely weather for the last couple of days, so it's been beautiful. So if you're all sitting comfortably, we have quite a lot to go through today. I've got quite a few finished objects for you, knitting, crochet and some sewing. So without further ado, let's get started. But before that, let's talk about how you can find me on social media. I'm known as Vivette B1 across Instagram and Ravelry, which is where I'm most active. So I will put links below to my Ravelry page and also details my Instagram as well. So now let's get started, shall we? So the first finished object I have to show you today is another one of my hats for the homeless. For those of you who are returning, you have heard this many times. I'm knitting as many hats as I can to give to my local library towards the end of the year, who will distribute them to the homeless in the local area. So this month I have finished one, and this is just a literally 2x2 beanie, 2x2 rib really, that you can actually fold up and wear as a beanie, or you can wear it as a slouchy hat. It will have a pom-pom on the end, but I'm knitting a second one out of this yarn, so I will wait to see how much yarn I've got at the end before doing the pom-poms, because I might have to do them in a different colour. The yarn that I'm using for this is Serdar Dapple in its DK range, and it's called the Mysterious Blues collection, and it's one that I knit my buttercup top out of, which I think is in about my 3rd episode if you want to go back and have a look at that. So that is my first finished object, and that is the hats for the homeless. My second finished object is a jumper, and this was one that it's called the Ghetto Jumper, and I was test knitting it for Melissa, who is the designer known as Skenanigans on social media. So this is it here. I will insert a photograph because it'll be easy to show you. As you can see, it's got this lovely textured pattern bit at the top, and then you carry on down and then you stripe in various minis using leftover yarn. So that's the ideal thing about it, because it's depending on how many grams you have in your minis, you can have lots of minis and lots of stripes, or you can have quite, bigger portions. It's entirely up to you. It does have a 3/4 sleeve with just ribbing at the end. The main colour, I used Drops Flora in their pale silver colour. So it's a very, very pale grey, almost neutral. So, but it's a lovely top. I did wear it to Woollen and I got lots of lovely compliments and people asking when the pattern would be released, which was really, really nice, because it was the first time that I'd done short rows and they didn't come out perfect, I'll be honest, but I've learnt some lessons from them, and I had a quick tutorial with someone who showed me how to do Japanese short rows, so I will be attempting those on the next jumper that I do. So that is finished object number 2. The next 2 finished objects that I have for you in knitting are both socks. My first one is this one here. So it's just a plain vanilla sock. The difference with this one is that I used a yarn called, by Rico, called, let me show you that better, Bamboo Superwash. So it's made up of 50% virgin wool, 25% polyamide and 25% viscose. Now I looked up viscose to see what it was, and just says it is a plant material based fibre. In this case it's bamboo. I bought this from a yarn shop when I was in Great Yarmouth on holiday a couple of years ago, and I must admit I haven't seen it since, but I would like to find out if there are more colours, because it's a lovely soft yarn to work with. I think that's the bamboo in it. When you're knitting it, it slides off the needles really easy, not in a slippery way but in a nice textured way. So I've got enough here to do another pair of socks, either a short version or potentially even a longer version. So I'll show you it again here. So this is I call them my bamboo socks because it is going to be lovely. I think they're going to be quite light and cool to wear in the summer. So that was the first pair that I finished in June. The second pair that I finished in June were a test knit for my friend Barbara, who is Knitting I Love on social media. She designs hats and socks and shawls, and I often have the opportunity to test knit for her. So the one that she's just released yesterday, and I'll tell you a bit more about that in a minute, is this one here. It's called the Trip for Two socks. So as you can see, it's got some mosaic work. This is called mosaic knitting, where you, and that again here. Now the lovely thing about this is, if I show the other one, I don't have another sock block here, is it's reversed. So you've got the toe part is the opposite colour to what the leg is, and vice versa. Now this is really versatile, this pattern, because if you wanted to, you could do it all one colour and just use minis to put the mosaics in. You can reverse it like I did. You can do one stripe down here, two stripes down here, three stripes down here. You could do that bit down there and that bit up there. And that's what I like about it, is because once you've actually got the pattern in your head, you can do as many variations of it as you like. Now Barbara has very kindly put a discount on this. There's a 20% discount on the pattern up until Friday, and it is called Trips 20. I will put it in below so that you can see it. She has also very, very kindly gifted me a free copy to give away when I hit 100 subscribers. So I'll be doing a small giveaway when I hit 100 subscribers. I'm currently at 81, so I'm hoping it won't be too long. So if you do have any friends out there that aren't watching my podcast, or if you just watch it but haven't subscribed yet and you want to be in a chance to win a free pattern, do give a subscribe, and as soon as I hit 100 I will do a giveaway. I will probably include some of my personal yarn as part of it as well. I haven't decided which colourway yet, but so it will be a pattern and a skein of yarn, just as a thank you to a random choice out of the 100 for subscribing. So again, this is a Trip for Two socks. So that is my second finished object on the sock side. My other finished objects that I have are crochet and sewing. So I have been doing some sewing with the lovely Claire, who is Arty Farty Mac, and also the owner behind Beautiful Things, and I will link both of those and her website down below. And she's rolling out some sustainable sewing projects. So in our, as everyone is trying to combat the use of single plastics at the moment and reduce the amount of plastics that we use, because obviously it's very bad for the environment, she's come up with some things that you can make that you can actually use to help that. So the first one that we have, and we filmed a tutorial for this last week, and it will be available as an online or in-person class at her studio, is a reusable vegetable bag. So the idea behind this is when you go to the supermarket and you get your oranges or you get your apples or whatever, and they give you those little flimsy plastic bags to put them in, instead you can put them in here, you can weigh them and put your sticker on it, and it will peel off because I have used mine. And then when you get home, you can just leave them in the bag, and if they're potatoes or something that's got some dirt on them, you can wash them whilst they're in the bag, which is great. And then you can also wash the bag as well. It will go in a washing machine on a cool temperature wash just to clean it, or you can just wash it by hand. So this is the first of her sustainable produce bags, and it actually comes, the pattern comes in two sizes. So this is the small version, but you can actually make a bigger version. But that's ideal. So that's the first one. The second one that we made is the drawstring bag, backpack. So this is it here. I will insert photographs because it'll be easier than trying to lift it all up. Now this one was following a request from Claire's daughter, who was having a birthday party and wanted to make something with her friend. So she said she wanted a backpack. So Claire came up with this design, and last week we filmed the tutorial for it. So again, it is going as an online class or an in-person class at her studio. It's really great because you literally pull it together and you've got a backpack. This one is big enough, because I've tried it already, to get a sweater's quantities worth of yarn together with a sweater that you're working on, some needles and everything. So I'm going to be using this as a project bag for when I'm knitting a sweater. Then I can put it over my back as a backpack and take it with me wherever I'm going, and it's very light. So that's another one of Claire's classes that she rolled out recently. The third one that we worked on and filmed the tutorial for is reusable paper towels, which you might think sound a bit funny, but it's using actual towels and actually fabric and towels and making them into a reusable one. Unfortunately, I don't have an example of that one, but I will link to Claire's website below, and also to a YouTube video that she did where she showed them on her YouTube channel, so you'll be able to see those there. So those are my 3 sewing projects, and for those that know me well, you know that I don't often get behind the sewing machine. But these were really enjoyable to do, and I will definitely be making more of the produce bags and also of the recyclable paper towels as well. So those are my sewing projects. My crochet projects are these ones. So again, following on from the wanting not to use so much plastic and that, I decided last weekend, I think it was, or the weekend before, that I wanted to make one of these washable buff puffs. You've seen them all before, you use them in the shower or whatever, but I didn't want to use plastic. So I dug out my cottons from my stash, and I had a look at some of the patterns on Ravelry and thought, yeah, most of them are Aran or chunky, and I didn't want that, I wanted DK. So I decided to kind of mash few things together, and I come up with this. And I'm really, really pleased with how it's turned out. So I've used 2 DK cottons. So the blue one is King Cole Vogue, and it's just from a jumper that I've had, and the pink one is a Drops Muscat. And it's a really simple thing to do, and once you get going on it, you just literally go round and round and round. So that was the first thing that I crocheted. The second thing that I decided that I wanted was some of these, which are the little puffball makeup wipes. So I sat and crocheted these. These are using King Cole Cotton Soft Candy. Oh, that's a mouthful. King Cole Cotton Soft Candy. And if you remember, that is the top that I did that had the purple edging on it. This is so soft, and this is going to be lovely to use as makeup wipes. They live in this little unbleached cotton bag that I got off of Amazon. And the ideal thing is I've got some natural wash nuts. So not nuts as in nuts and bolts, but they're a type of washing nut that you put in with it and just put it in the washing machine, and it cleans it. So you don't have to use, you know, like washing liquid or your surfs or your bowls or anything like that. These natural wash nuts. I will put a link to them below on Amazon. It will be an affiliate link, and also to the little Eco non-bleach bags. But if you are interested, it won't cost you anything. It's just that I get a few pennies. But these little nuts are great for light washes. So quite often when I'm doing my socks, I hand wash all my socks, but I will put them in the water, and as you mash them around, it gives a little lather, and ideal to pop in here and just put in the machine as well, without having to use any form of detergent. So those are my 2 crochet projects. Now, I showed both of these to Claire, and she asked if myself and Carol, who is the knitting tutor at Beautiful Things, would host a session where people can come along and they can either crochet these, or they can, Carol's got some patterns for a dishcloth. This is one that I've made recently that's just, I've made it, it's slightly out of shape because I put a pull on it and it's been hanging. But something similar to that again you make out of cotton, and also a cotton like vegetable bag as well, you know, like the big ones that you see that you can sling over your shoulder and put in it. So we're going to host a session at Beautiful Things during the summer holidays, school summer holidays here in the UK, where you can just come along and have a couple of hours of me time or time to yourself just to crochet one of these projects or knit one of the projects that Carol's got, and just do something for yourself. And again, details will be on Claire's website. So those are all my finished objects. So as you can see, I've been quite busy. Not only have I been knitting, I've been crocheting and I've been sewing, which for me is quite unusual. So now we'll get on to whips. So my first whip that I have is, following on from the hats, is the next hat for the homeless, which as you can see is just a second one of the one that I showed you earlier. I have this much yarn left, so I suspect I will probably be able to get the hat out of it, but I probably have to do different colours for the 2 pom-poms. But again, that's just something that is another bit of TV knitting that I do most evenings. The other whips that I have are, oh, excuse the noise, I have another pair of socks that I'm doing. When I went to Woollen a couple of weeks ago now, I met up with Barbara and some other ladies that I'd met previously when I'd been to a retreat of Grace's, and I'll put photos at the end. And we had a little catch up and a coffee and a natter and that for half an hour or so. And Barbara and I had arranged to do a leftover sock swap. So we swapped some yarn from socks that we had both knitted ourselves, and I will link to her video because she's got some finished objects where she talks about the socks and the method that she does and stuff like that. And the yarn that I swapped with her is this yarn. It's absolutely lovely. It's a French yarn. The company is called Bergère, which is not a brand that I have worked with before. And as you can see, this is what it looks like when it's kind of caked up. So it's obviously where she's knitted 2 at a time socks. So I have finished the first one, and I will put the heels in afterwards. But that is how it is knitting up. So it's just a vanilla sock, toe up, and then I put an afterthought heel in. And I cast on the first one, the other bit, literally this morning. So that's just it. So that is my another evening knit where I just want to not concentrate on what I'm knitting and just literally go round and round and round, which is lovely. That's really nice of an evening, especially as we've got lots of sport on at the moment. The Women's World Cup, the World Cup cricket, so there's lots going on. My other whip at the moment is another test knit that I'm doing for Julie, who is the dyer behind Suffolk Socks. Sorry, she's the owner of Suffolk Socks and she dyes under the name of the Yarn Tart. So I won't show you the pattern, but I will show you the yarn. And this is the yarn. It's her own yarn, and this is called Buttercup. So I'm knitting some socks and testing some socks out of her for these. And this is lovely. This is a beautiful yarn to use as well. So I will be able to hopefully show you more than that once the pattern has been published. Oh, I'm tripping over my words today. So that is all of my works in progress. So as you can see, I've not got a lot on the thing. That's because I've just finished a lot of the finished objects. So I just need to start casting on some more things. So following on from all of my whips, the only things that I just want to quickly show you before I go on to things that I've purchased is, as I mentioned, Barbara and I did a leftover sock yarn swap whilst at Woollen. So I swapped some yarn that I'd made some socks with, and I'll put a picture of them up here, and if you go across to Barbara's finished objects video you will see how hers turned up, because she did just a vanilla sock whereas I did a pattern sock, and it's quite interesting to see how different they look, the different textures. So she also swapped 2 other colours with me, which are these 2 here. So one of them is a King Cole zigzag, which is this one with lovely deep reds and oranges, and I think I'm going to see if I can find some of this like pinky colour to use as contrast toes and heels. And she also gifted me this one, which is this one here. I've not used this one before, made in Germany, but lovely greens and browns, and I can use the cream again for these. So I should be knitting up 2 more pairs of vanilla socks with these, ready for the winter. So that was just some swaps that I did. The other things that I have to talk to you about is purchases from Woollen. So as you know, I went to Woollen as part of a holiday to see family in Ireland. Oh, it must be 2 weeks ago now, 2.5 weeks ago now, and it was lovely. I really had a really nice time. The weather wasn't the best, but we still made the most of it. But I did go to Woollen on the Saturday, where, like I say, I met up with the ladies from the Babbles retreat from last October that I attended, and I'm hoping to go back there again this October if it's going ahead. So I will go through what I purchased. So the first thing that I picked up was, hold on one moment, my Sinister Cats tote bag from Mana, who is in Kettenberg. I had done a sticking workshop with her the week before at Beautiful Things, and I mentioned that I was coming to Woollen and there was a couple of bits I wanted. So what I did was I ordered them beforehand, ready to collect at Woollen. So I had the tote bag. I also picked up one of the pins that she did, that way around, for Woollen. Hope you can see that. I will put notes below as to what the translation is, because I do not read Gaelic, so I do not know. But those are ones that she did specifically for the show. And I also picked up, it's going to make a noise, one of her stitch marker silver bracelets. So it's a bangle bracelet, very similar to the ones that I already wear, and it's got 20 different stitch markers on it. So you've got some of these little just hanging ones, and then you've got some with dangles on. So yes, so I was really pleased with that. So I'd ordered those beforehand to collect, because I wanted to make sure that I didn't miss out, because I wasn't going to the Saturday and I knew that the marketplace was open on the Friday. So that was my first purchase. I then did a wander around. said hello to a few people that I knew. And then my next purchase was from Other Worldly Yarns, and it's this. How gorgeous is this? It's practically every colour, but in a beautiful muted one. And she also gave you a free progress keeper as well. And this one is a triqueta, which, for those of you who know, this is the very visible Celtic symbol over in Ireland. You can see it most places, and it has various meanings. But this is absolutely beautiful. Now this, I have a project in mind for this, and I'm going to be teaming it with either one of these two, which I picked up from Gamer Crafting, who was also at the show. And again, I've got pictures of all of this that I'll put at the end. So I picked up these two minis from her, and I'm going to team it with one of them. I'm not sure which one yet, but Barbara has designed a shawl. It's a one skein shawl, a beautiful lacework shawl, and I'm going to wait for that pattern to be released, or if I'm lucky enough, get the chance to test knit it, and then I will be making the shawl out of this. And like I say, either one of these, I'm not sure yet, but that will be a nice memory of Woollen, because it will come from two of the vendors at Woollen, and also a designer who lives in Ireland and I met and chatted to and had coffee with at Woollen. So that will be a lovely reminder. So I know Barbara is just going to do some work on it, and then she'll write it up, so it's not going anywhere until she's ready to release it, and then I'll be knitting that with it. So that's that one. The other things, I only bought two other things from Woollen because we took hand luggage and I wanted to make sure I could get it all home. And some of the things that I wanted, I thought might not get through customs, like needles and stuff. So I was a bit, I was very careful as to what I purchased. But I did purchase another skein at Gamer Craftings, which is this one here, which is an orange. And I'm going to team that. Now, I apologise for the rustling noise here, but I don't want to get it out of its bag. I bought a double sock blank from Grace of Babel's Yarns, Babel's Travelling Yarns. And those of you that know that I love purple. So I'm going to team it with a bright orange and do a pair of socks out of that. Again, another memo of Woollen, because they will be from both from vendors at Woollen. So that was all that I purchased at Woollen. But I had a lovely time. Like I say, I met up with the ladies from the October retreat, and we had a lovely coffee and tea and catch up and chat, and I met loads of people that I said hello to. Had photos with Stephen West and Julie Knits in Paris, and had quite a few fangirl moments. And I will put some photos and a little bit of footage that I took at the end of it. I've not quite mastered the art of walking with a walking stick and filming at the same time, so it's not the best quality, which is why I haven't done a whole vlog on it. But I will find a way to get around that somehow. So those were my purchases from Woollen. Whilst I was at Woollen, I also met with a lovely lady from Tribe Yarns that are based down in Surrey. And I did have a splurge, but I asked for it to be delivered once I got home, purely because of it. So I treated myself to a set of chalgoos. So these are their, she says, this is their twist ones. So it comes with all the needles, and in here I've got all the cables and everything and the stitch markers that come with it. Yeah, but I did ask for those to be posted to me once I got back to the UK, because I did worry that trying to get on a Ryanair with one of these, they'd probably take it off me and then I'd be absolutely gutted. So I didn't run the risk of these being left behind in yarn. But it's a lovely pouch, and I will be adding some more to it. So that was my other official purchase there, but actually sent to me when I got home. When I came home, I did a bit more purchasing as well. So only small things, but it's just things that it's quite a bit for June, which is unusual for me. I'll try and restrain myself. So the other things that is, and I'm holding Claire McInnes personally responsible for the next ones. So she sent me a little link on Instagram, a picture on Instagram, to something that she'd found. And it's by a lady called the Pink Coat Club. And it's these. Can you see them? Yes. There are little labels that says contains cat hair, because for those of you that know me well know that I have a cat. Bonnie, her name is. She's a tortoiseshell, and she will insist on, supplying me with a fair amount of fur to put into my garment. So I thought those were very apt to put in a couple. So this is where I got them from. This is the card, and like I say, she has, I can't remember if it's an Etsy, no, it's her own website. So, but she has lots of other things as well, but they do, those little ones have come in as well. So if you're a sewer, she has another one that looks like a plaster that says sewing related incident, which is obviously when you prick your finger on the sewing machine or something like that, and I know someone that's quite prone to that, don't we, Elspeth? But that's a different story. And my final purchase was from the lovely Hannah, who's the owner behind Corner Craft Stitch Markers and the dyer behind Chromatic Yarns that I've spoken about before, because I've knitted quite a few with her yarns. So she did a shop update again about a week ago and included some in it. She's also got a destash section where she's destashing some of her personal yarns because she won't use them. So I picked up two things. So the first thing I picked up was this. This is the Reusable Perfect socks. Now I've been wanting to knit some socks with this for a while just to see if it says what it is what it says on the tin. So apparently you start at the yellow, or use that as your thing, and from there onwards you can knit a pair of socks, and if you start at the next section of yellow that is midway through the ball, you will then get identical matching socks. And this is what this one looks like. So as you can see, it's got stripes at the top and then just a plain foot. So I'll probably do a plain vanilla on this one just to see if it does come out exactly as they say. So that was from her destash. The other thing that I picked up was one of her stitch markers. Now I have quite a few of her stitch markers already, but I do love dragons. I have been a dragon fan for many years in terms of books, where I read all of the Anne McCaffrey series back in the 80s, and things like David Eddings, and all the ones that were like about fantasy with dragons and things like that. And she has recently made these. How cute is that? Absolutely adorable little dragon in purple, had my name all over it. So I recently purchased that as well. So though he's just so cute, I just can't stop looking at him. Have a second look, look. See? He is absolutely adorable. So that was my final purchase. Sorry about that. My battery on my camera cut out, so I've just jumped onto my phone just to finish off the last little bit. So as I was saying, the purchase that I made, the final purchase that I made, was the little dragon from Hannah at Corner Craft. So all in all, that is everything that I have to talk about today. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you've found it of interest. And what I'm going to do with the socks is, as I have quite a few that, like the two pairs that I'm working on at the moment, plus the test knit, I'm going to do a little extra one in July on socks, on how I use them, how I knit them, the methods that I use, the yarns that I use, needle, all that sort of thing. So that will be it'll be quite a short one, but it will just be a little extra one in the middle of July, just to talk about the methods I use for using socks and to hopefully show you some more finished objects. So thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and I look forward to catching up with you soon. Take care. Bye bye.
Lovely people.